What's up and welcome back to Rumor Has It Official. Let's get straight into talking about 90 Day Fiance, Season 7, Episode 4, I Know What You Did. So I'm going to start off with Colt and Larissa. Larissa heads downstairs to see what Debbie is up to, which is Colt's mother. Larissa opens up to the camera crew that since she can't work at this time, she's basically stuck in the house with Colt's mother, and she's a bit worried about how things will go from this point on, especially how they kind of started off the first time meeting each other. It didn't go so well. She does believe that if she can get along with Colt's mother, that it would be good for her relationship with Colt. Larissa tells Colt's mother, let's go find a sofa. And Debbie agrees. Larissa expresses to the camera crew that she doesn't like Colt's home because it's messy and there's no furniture, so she wants to make some changes to the house. On the way to the furniture store, Deb and Larissa learn that they have a difference of opinion in the types of styles they like in furniture. They arrive at this furniture store and they start to browse couches. They both like the same couch, but they don't agree on the color of the couch. Larissa then points out a pleather couch, and I'm just gonna call it pleather because I'm not sure if it's a real leather couch, so I'm just gonna say pleather. Deb tells her we can't have leather due to the cat, but Larissa ignores her and she's just complimenting on how beautiful the couch is and how much she loves it. Deb then adds Colt will have to come and look at the couch. Larissa felt like they should go ahead and purchase the couch, but Deb said no. Colt should be able to put his 2 cents in if he's going to be the one buying the couch. Larissa inquires about the price and tells Deb they should go ahead and buy it now. And without hesitation, Deb says no, she's not having it. She wants to wait on her son and she wants to get his approval first before she purchases the couch, because the couches, I believe he said it was like $1,200. Deb also shortly reveals to the camera crew that her and her son have a joint bank account, and they've had this joint bank account since Colt was 14. It's really crazy to me because it seems to me that they're in a marriage and not a mother and son relationship. You guys comment down below what you guys think of their relationship. Moving on to Steven and Olga. So Olga starts to have contractions, so Steven decides they should go ahead and go to the hospital. On the way there, Steven is trying his best to stay calm and supportive, but Olga is really annoyed by him, and I really think it's just because she's getting ready to have a baby. She's in pain, so I think that's probably why she's annoyed, because I didn't really see him doing anything that would annoy her. Steven, on the other hand, once they got to the hospital, he wasn't a fan because he said that it was nasty looking, basically. Olga, she gets changed into her gown and it's time for her to go into the room, but Steven is not allowed in the room with her unless it is approved by the chief doctor. So a nurse comes in and tells Steven he can leave now and come back in the morning. Steven says it's going to be a serious issue if he misses the birth of the baby. He almost somewhat kind of gets emotional with Olga because he's like, I don't want to leave and you have the baby tonight. You know, he's panicking. He wants to be there for the birth, which I think that's really sweet. I think that's good that he wants to be a part and he does not want to miss that, because that is truly a special moment, bringing a child into the world. Next, let's talk about Eric and Lita. Lita's family is in the US and she really wants Eric to impress her family. While driving, Lita's family speak in their language and express thoughts about Eric. Lita translates to Eric what they said. They said that Eric looks older than his age, but is friendly. I just don't understand why she felt the need to tell him that, because it's really rude and it would offend someone. So I'm not sure why she felt the need to translate. He wouldn't have known they were talking about him had she not even said anything. So once they arrive, her family is not impressed by where they'll be staying. Lita says that, you know, her family normally stays in 5-star hotels and she's not sure if the place Eric rented will be enough for them. Eric gives them a tour of the place and even offers to give them the rooms, and he says that he'll sleep on the couch. Lita's father says the house is small and usually in Indonesia they build big houses in order to be comfortable. Now, the whole time that they've been in this house talking and taking tours of the place, seeing the rooms, Lita's son was left in the car sleeping. I I just don't understand, why did everyone just forget about him out there? And why isn't she concerned? She's the mother. Why wasn't anybody concerned about this baby being left in the car while they're just in the house having a tour? Somebody should have got that baby, and the men could have got the bags, but somebody should have gotten that baby out of the car. Leaving him in there just because he's asleep, I don't approve of that. That was crazy to me. So Eric wants to impress Lita's parents by showing them that, he can be a good father to her son. So when he finally comes back in with the little boy, you can tell that the little boy is still tired, and Eric tells him to get up off the floor, and the little boy starts crying and is falling out. It's only been a couple of days in, and he's already trying to take the role as being a father, but I feel like that's something you have to ease your way into, because at the end of the day, that little boy might have seen you on FaceTime. He might have saw pictures of you, but he doesn't know you. So I feel like that's something you have to ease your way into. You can't just come into somebody's life. It's kind of like with the Molly and Louise situation. Her youngest daughter was okay with Louise until he said to her, "I'm your dad now." And the little girl didn't like that. And you can't do that to kids. You confuse them, and I just don't think that it's right. And so I feel like she needs to be the one taking care of her son and making sure he's straight, not Eric trying to take on that role. It's just too soon for that. So back to with the little boy, he's crying and he's falling out on the floor. You can tell, like I said, that he's still very tired. And her father steps in and takes the little boy. And her sister adds that, she's not convinced that Eric can take care of him. After sitting for a bit, Lita's father says, it's 10 o'clock, so I will get ready for bed. Eric then grabs Lita's son from the grandfather. So does she not take care of her own child ever? The little boy is kicking and crying, and Eric yells, "You need to calm down," to him. Then Lita still stands there, but then she wants to add, "He's not comfortable with you." Okay, so then why don't you get your child? Very frustrating. Let's move on to Ashley and Jay. So the next morning, Ashley calls Jay down for breakfast. Ashley says, that they've been long distance for so long, and it feels good to have some time together at home. Jay says his biggest fear is living with a woman and being around each other 24/7. He also added that, he's just hoping there's no bad side of her, and he's immature. He's a kid, so I really don't even take anything he says serious, to be honest. Later on that night, Ashley tells Jay that she's taking him to dinner, but she really has a surprise for him. Her plan is to get him acquainted with her friends so that he'll feel more comfortable and not so clingy to her. Ashley's friends, they all come together and give Jay a surprise party to welcome him. Knowing how Ashley's best friend Natalie feels about Jay, surprisingly, she is there as well. But she's not there for what we think she's there for. She's not there to welcome him. She's there because she wants to confront him. So during the party, Natalie decided to confront Jay on cheating on Ashley in the past. Moving on, let's talk about Jonathan and Fernanda. Fernanda is going through some highs and lows since being in America, and tells Jonathan that the week was tough for her because she feels alone. Jonathan says that he feels bad, but he wants to cheer her up by taking her to the beach for the weekend. So they make their way to Myrtle Beach, which is about an hour from Lumberton. Once they make it, they grab a bite to eat, and they begin to start talking about their wedding. Jonathan wants to know, what are they going to do about the wedding in Chicago? And Fernanda says that she doesn't know. She wants to meet his family first. She adds that Jonathan doesn't talk a lot about his family, which makes her scared because when you marry someone, you pretty much marry the family too. So it's really important for her to know them as well. If Jonathan's family meets her and doesn't like her, then, she says that she can't marry Jonathan. Jonathan gives Fernanda peace of mind by telling her that they'll meet his family first, then talk wedding plans. Jonathan tells the camera crew that his mom found out about his engagement to Fernanda through social media. His mom was very upset, and she kind of feels like he's going through a midlife crisis, and he's worried that his mom will take her frustrations out on Fernanda. He then says his mom is a jealous person. So that kind of left a little question in my mind, like, what's up? What's really going on with their relationship? Do they have a good relationship? Because if you're excited and you're happy about something, why wouldn't you tell your family? I don't know. Maybe afraid of judgment, maybe because she's young, he doesn't want to hear anything negative. Sometimes people hold things back just simply because of that. You don't want nobody to tell you nothing. So you feel like if you don't tell them, then, or if you don't communicate with them or talk to them about those things, then they can't give you an opinion or try to change your mind or be too involved. Next, let's move on to Kalani and Asuelu. So since the dinner, Kalani says that her family still has reservations, but she doesn't want to focus on that right now. She just wants to enjoy her little family. They decide to head to the park. While at the park, Kalani is super nervous with how Asuelu interacts with the baby. She adds that he isn't adapting too well to being a father, which I feel like it's definitely going to take him some time. They decide to talk about, a few things at the park, and Asuelu wants to know where they will live because Kalani can no longer afford the Airbnb they're staying at. She quit her job before Asuelu got to America, so when he came that she could spend time with him. First thing in my mind is like, who does that? Like, if he can't work for a couple of months, then how will they get the necessities they need to survive as a family? I just don't get it. So Kalani adds that, they're going to stay at her parents' second home in Utah and that her brother will be staying there as well, plus her parents. She feels like her dad wants her brother there to keep an eye out on her and the baby. Asuelu is concerned because her parents are going to be around, and supposedly Kalani always wants to fool around. TMI. But Kalani wants to stay in California a bit longer because she feels her sister is her home, and she got very emotional when talking to the camera crew about that. So being away from her, she said it's going to be hard. She's hoping to smooth things over before they move to Utah. So that ends part 1 of my 90-day fiance recap. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know by giving it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to share this video with a friend who also loves 90-day fiance. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you do not miss part 2 of my recap for the same episode, which is season 6, episode 4. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.